Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the I-51 coverage here for the Razer Challenger League of Legends Cup. We are in Game 3, the first Game 3 we've had all tournament long here between Unicorns of Love and Rain eSports. And pick some bans. I wonder will we see a Leona ban here?
Yeah, that was really good by Rain last game. You know, they got dominated in that first game. And they're running with the tactics, you know, why break when it ain't, why fix when it ain't broke, you know?
Why break when it ain't fixed?
Yorick and LeBlanc being banned out again. Nidalee and Lee Sin, these are mirror bans from what we saw last game.
I feel like Rain's last ban has to be Leona.
Has to be, because they're not first pick.
Yeah.
So. But then it's difficult, because last game Leona was so key to their engagers.
Yeah.
So we'll see again. Morgana being banned out. It's not Leona. That's going to be a first pick Leona for Unicorns of Love. It has to be.
Yeah, I'm thinking of other things they could actually pick up. I think they'll go for anything other than Leona, because Hylasang is just so damn good at Leona.
It is his champion, you know. He hit every Zenith Blade that game. The game that somehow it slipped through the rafters and he hit every Zenith Blade, so we'll have to see. They're taking their time about it, though. It's going to be a Shyvana. If this Shyvana's locked in, no way will Rain let Hylasang slip through with that Leona.
No, I actually would be kind of surprised to see that Shyvana get picked up, but maybe Master Sheepy just was thinking that Nutri was too strong.
There we go.
The Leona's going to get picked up in response.
And Blackjack did a fair job on him. He wasn't outstanding, but he hit good ultimates when needed, hit good Zenith Blades when needed, and Vizzy going over and picking that Shyvana away from Nutri, but Nutri could just turn around and say, hey, I've got my Nocturne back now.
Yeah, exactly. Nutri, although I feel like his Shyvana was worlds better than his Nocturne.
Yeah, I do. I also agree. His Nocturne suffered in the early game when we did see him play it. Looks like Warrior is going to be getting that Jax yet again for maybe the 5th game in a row now.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's played consistently Warrior pretty much all day.
Well, there you are.
Did I say Warrior? He's played consistently Jax.
It's almost like
day.
They're the same person now, Jax and Warrior.
I know, I'm just... Yeah,
he's
played a lot of
Getting towards
Jax.
the end of the day, isn't it, Stress?
Oh, it's pub quiz soon, it's okay. I can use the rest of what my brain is holding useless knowledge for in that, but we're in picks and bats, so I'm going to focus on that.
There we go. We got Orianna being taken away from Digger, and Master of Sheepy locking in the Lucian, taking it away from Omega this time round. Warrior and Nutri now going to be thinking about what they want to take away. This is like we're getting a role reversal in this mid lane now. Ziggs being picked up for Digger.
Really is. It's as if Unicorns of Love are on the red side, but they're not. Okay, well, we'll see what they pick up alongside that. Probably AD carry, I would suggest. Or maybe even the jungler, but
yeah, because obviously
it will be one of the two.
Vizzy could take Shyvana for that top lane if he wanted to against the Jax. Nutri heading over to that Xin Zhao. So that is a very powerful champion, and I've seen Nutri play it to great effect as well, so it'd be really great to see if he can pull it out of the bag this game. But we've got to remember, Master of Sheepy is well versed on many champions, including Vi, who still is available right now, as is Nocturne.
Yeah, I would be surprised to see that Shyvana anywhere other than jungle. Top lane's kind of fallen off a little bit, just from the way that Jax scales through. Shen, I guess Shen Jax, we've seen that quite a lot. You know, has his strengths, has his weaknesses.
I like the global pressure that Shen exerts, but unfortunately I don't think that he does very well against Jax in lane. Renekton is the more obvious choice here.
Yeah.
Hopefully the 2v1 won't be forced, as Renekton does do better in the 2v1. However, Rain did do okay. I've got to be honest, although Rain won the last game, it was nothing to do with their 2v1.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with their 2v1. And the Thresh going over to Hylasang for the 3rd time in a row. And Tristana, no, it wasn't really Tristana. It's going to be a Trundle. So Hylasang going to pick up the Thresh there. Interesting.
Interesting they go with it.
Honestly, I do think he's been very quiet on that champion.
Yeah, we've said that a couple of times today already. And Trundle into Jax. Trundle in theory out-duels just about everybody in the late game once you have Subjugate and you can land a lot of damage, but Jax with that Counter-Strike is going to be able to waste a lot of the time from Trundle that he's got Subjugate on. If you hold Counter-Strike for when Subjugate is used, you can really mitigate a lot of that dueling potential.
I agree. And to be honest, it's Vayne on Omega. So Omega plays a very good Vayne. I've seen it at Epic, I've seen it on online tournaments too. He's very solid on that Vayne right there. And Bolt will probably back me up on this if he does chime in on Twitch chat. Omega's a very good Vayne. Picking it into Lucian is okay because Lucian is not the worst matchup for Vayne in the world. So it'll be interesting to see whether we do get this 2v1. Now, Rain have really loved forcing this 2v1, but I'm not sure Leona Vayne is a great 2v1 situation for pushing towers.
Yeah, we've already talked about the drawbacks of Leona. I believe Rain. It was the game against Infuse. They played Vayne, Leona, and Jax. It's a very similar team composition than what they had. They had a Nidalee mixed in there and a Kha'Zix rather than the Xin Zhao and Ziggs. But essentially, they just took control of the game, even though they lost that initial race. But you know, it's just a case of can they get Vayne and Jax into that late game. If they can, then they should be able to take this one home. But Unicorns of Love are a pretty good team here. It's a pretty good team, and it's 1-1 in our winners bracket final.
It is 1-1 indeed. Now all the teams have been locked on. Digger has picked up that Ziggs. We'll see him going up against his own Orianna in that mid lane. Being such a potent Orianna player, I'm sure he'll know the weaknesses and her strengths, maybe looking to exploit that. However, we can't count Unicorns of Love out even after that last game because they've been so dominant all tournament. You know, that one game could have been a little slip up for them. We could see them coming out of the horse stylist.
Out of the gates.
Out of the gates. That is what I'm looking for. Stress. that was the phrase I was looking for. Out of the gates, swinging.
Or the starting blocks. Either one. You can go for either. It depends whether you're a horse or a human.
Who knows? Unicorns, come on.
Unicorns, yeah, true.
Yeah, see,
like,
I knew where I was going. There was somewhere that I was wrong.
I was wondering why there was like hay bales outside and stuff like that.
It's for the Unicorns
See,
of
for
Love.
those of you that are at the event, you'll understand that because at the seating area outside there are actually hay bales. But for everybody else, they're just wondering what the hell we're talking about.
I think it's part of the Minecraft thing.
It might be.
Or just like the scenic area.
I can't tell whether it's the food carts thing that they're meant to be like old Wild West trucks kind of things.
Yes,
so
yes.
hay, or I don't know. It's kind of like weird to me that they've got those carts and then it's like Chinese food inside. The worlds don't really mesh on the whole Southern American kind of style.
Well, there we are. Anyway, we're going to be heading into this last game in about a minute's time. Looking at these matchups, very even game. Going into the late game, got to favour Rain here as long as Omega can get protected. But she does have a Leona, one of the best champions at peeling as well as engaging. So also having the Jax and the Xin Zhao as well as the Ziggs there. So as long as Omega can stay safe, this may be in favour of Rain. But you've got to remember, Vayne does take a while to get kick-started into position.
Yeah, there's, as you were saying, so much peel in those late team fights actually. And when you look at it, you look at the Crescent Sweep, the Solar Flare, the stun coming from Leona. There's so much peel that as long as Nutri and Blackjack stay right on top of Omega, and who's renamed himself to Slight. Yeah, that's confusing. I didn't realize it was Omega until he.
No, yeah, I didn't realize until they were told. I was told in the game slate, but
okay.
It's hard to refer to him as Slight when I've known him as Omega for so long. So once you find out it's Omega, it's anyone that's watching and knows Omega will know who we're on about. It's fine.
Yeah.
So if anyone gets confused during the stream, Slight is Omega. If I refer to him as Omega, I may refer to him as Slight as well. But hey.
Oh dear. It's one of those things. Is why have you changed your name? What's your reasoning? Just making it difficult for everybody.
Anyway, we're about to head into game, guys. This is the best of 3, the final game. UK Pride versus the 8th best challenger team on the challenger leaderboard.
I haven't checked currently. That would be an interesting thing to know.
I believe they are quite high up in the challenger leaderboard in terms of points. So again, Unicorns of Love, a very highly skilled EU team going up against one of the best UK teams, I would say at the moment. I'd say the best teams in the competition for UK are FM eSports and Rain of Gaming. So
yeah, I mean Rain. I hadn't overlooked them as such coming into the tournament, but I think I just kind of said to myself that Unicorns, FM, Rain was kind of like the way I thought it would work out. But Rain are already showing that they can fight against Unicorns of Love. We're into game 3, so you know they've taken a game.
Unicorns of Love 2-0'd FM.
Yeah, exactly.
So Rain have really stepped it up, and honestly, I think Nutri has done a really good job in that jungle because people often say jungle is the catalyst for your team, and Nutri is one of the best junglers in the UK, and he's really helped his team out. And I got to say, there's been some up and down for Warrior on Jax, but in most games he's gone big.
Yeah,
I think 4 out of the 5 games we've seen Jack's Warrior played by Jack played by Warrior. He's done really well. I'm getting confused as well.
I'm glad it's not just me that's getting confused by the whole Warrior Jax thing. As long as there's not a skin called Warrior Jax, I'm trying to think of the top of my head. That'd be really confusing.
Yeah, so anyway, we are heading, and there may be some level 1 action coming out again. All of the pings are pinging to the same area, so teams are going to clash in that top river side, depending on who gets there first. Master of Sheepy has the burnout to burn himself forward as he is getting towards there. He's going to be the first to enter the river, but are they going to meet in that tri-brush? Rain have to be careful here. Oh, Master of Sheepy's going to face check. There's Nutri. The counter-strike comes out. He's going to catch him out. The flash comes down. That's first blood going down to Jax. The flash from Leona to get the stun off was really, really solid there. And again, getting the first blood on the side of Rain. They've been really good in their level 1 fights so far.
Rain just really calling what Unicorns of Love had planned then. Unicorns just didn't have any answer to that. That's an easy kill going over to Rain. They're going to get that ward down. They'll be able to spot out. Ooh.
That's a solid ward for Rain. Again, they'll be able to notice any lane swaps. They can see Lucian and Thresh in that top lane. Trundle is still there though, so a bit of mind games coming out. Oh, I love the mind games here. Lucian and Thresh walked past the line of sight of that ward and are now backing as Trundle stays in the top lane.
Oh, that is mind games in effect. They really don't want Jax up against that Trundle in the early game by the looks of it, as they're going to send Vayne and Leona down into that bottom lane. We've already seen them really not have the effect that they want with the 2v1 lane with the Leona alongside Vayne, but I wonder whether they'll get the job done in this one. They're actually going to send Warrior over with Nutri, so they'll have a little bit of time as long as Vizichachi doesn't show himself in that top lane.
Yeah, he needs to be careful. I think he is going to follow the minion wave up, however, and now it is going to be a straight up 2v2 in the spot lane. I'm not sure if that's what Rain were planning, having had that ward and spotted Lucian and Thresh moving up there. Maybe they didn't want the 2v2, but now they're going to get it as Hylasang moves down to that bot lane. He's going to start auto-attacking, getting a bit of damage down straight away. But Omega doing a good job of getting a couple of attacks off himself.
Yeah, I believe even forced out Thresh to take the Lantern first. Yes, they did during that engagement earlier up in that top tri-bush. They tried to get Master of Sheepy out using that Dark Passage, so that's going to affect Hylasang's ability to zone in lane now, because they'll know that he's not able to hook or flay and won't have those empowered auto attacks either.
Yeah, looks like the counter strike's coming out from Warrior. He's going to get a bit of damage onto Vigi, using the damage from the minions, and the leap strike comes out. He's going for the level 2 all in here. He hasn't got his ignite available, but look at the auto attacks coming down. The minions doing a bit of return damage for Vizzy in that top lane.
That's so much damage coming out early game, and Master of Sheepy is around this top side jungle. Warrior is still pretty well. He's taken a fair amount of damage so far, so maybe susceptible to a gank here. Of course, does have teleport, so anytime he decides to back off, could look to heal up, but it's very early on to be doing so. Jungle is not. Oh, I was going to say I'm going to clash. I thought Nutri was heading up towards top, but everybody's headed towards Raze.
Zodiac is going to get a ward down. Spy Nutri heading down towards that bot lane. He's going to have to back off now and return to his jungle to farm up a little bit in that top lane. However, Warrior has been zoned off the CS just a little bit. The passive from Trundle doing work to get himself back up to that healthy, full health. Warrior takes a rabid bite to the face. Not nice for him right there.
Not nice indeed, but Zodiaz will continue in this middle lane to try and land as much harass down on Ziggs, but it's not working all that well. Digger.
Oh, the hook comes down onto Vayne. The Zenith Blade does miss everybody there. Not sure they really wanted the engage, however, so probably a good job that it didn't hit right there. Probably just trying to get a bit of a stun under turret. Digger taking quite a lot of damage from Zodiac. He's going to get auto attacks coming down, uses the satchel charge to move him away and Zodiac back, but right now, Zodiac kind of winning that mid lane trades.
Yeah, Zodiaz is a pretty consistent mid laner. I've seen him on Orianna quite a lot in the multiple different tournaments I've casted him. Ziggs tends to be his main champion right now, but he isn't adverse to taking a champion like Orianna, who's just incredibly consistent in lane. And that typically is what Unicorns of Love just are fairly well known for, is this consistency, so it's kind of surprising to see them floundering when put into a position where they're a little bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, and now Vizzy is going to start forcing that minion wave onto the turret for Warrior. Warrior not having a good time after that level 2 trade. He had the advantage then, and now he's going to start farming on the turret. But again, Jax can really deal with that quite well. Has the empowered strike to farm under the turret, and can farm pretty efficiently otherwise. So again, I don't think Warrior's going to farm too much about that. But in the meantime, Nutri in that mid lane going to force Zodiac back a little bit. Hasn't had to burn flash or heal, however. So that is going to be that for that gank, and just gives Digger a little bit of peace of mind. You know?
For now, it will give him peace of mind for just that little bit, but he'll go right back to it, as this time Master Sheepy is going to be around this middle lane area should they choose to fight. Bottom lane, there's a little bit of back and forth between the teams, but again, they're so pushed up towards Rain's turret that Unicorns of Love are never going to take a full-on engagement, because it would just be too much of a stupid idea at that point. They're going to get locked down and the turret to get stunned up and then end up falling, but there's not too much else that they can do here other than try and zone. Condemn goes back, doesn't put him into the wall, but Hylasang is just going to zone out here now that he's got all of those abilities available.
Yeah, and let's look at the CS difference for the Vayne. She's 12 CS behind now. Most Vaynes would not qualm about that in a 2v2 lane, so not doing too badly. In the mid lane, however, Digger is going to get caught out. He's going to force himself to flash over the wall. Master of Sheepy is just going to back away. And Master of Sheepy doing a good job of farming right now. He's currently sitting on, if I can just bring up, can't see the stacks actually because he doesn't have wriggles yet. However, Nutri is trying to catch up, and Nutri's done a good job of balancing his time between ganking and farming quite well. Now that Jax is level 6, however, he's going to start to win out this top lane. He needs to be careful though, because Trundle's ultimate is very tricky. And if Trundle activates his ultimate after Jax activates his, going to steal most of the resistances that he gets. But
at the same time as that, the durations on Counter-Strike and actually Hook down in the bottom.
Mid lane, bot lane, Blackjack taking a lot of damage, like you said there. Sorry, carry on with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that normally Subjugate is used after the ultimate, but he actually has to save Subjugate for after Warrior has used Counter-Strike, so that then he can continue to duel, because if he uses it before, Warrior's just going to mitigate
a great play, but the flash of Shield of Daybreak onto Hylasang, he's going to get stunned down. Nutri's going to jump and get the last hit of his 3 Talon Strike onto him. Vardak is going to be forced back too. Nutri going to jump on under tower. The Condemn onto the turret. Is he going to be able to finish him off? No, he survives with the slightest of health. Wow, the pun came out there as well. But yeah, that was a good pickup in that bot lane.
Rain are doing a really good job at controlling the early game here, and we already saw that they have the late game team composition, so they really shouldn't be coming out ahead in the early game, but it is just working out for them. They're doing good rotations with Nutri. He's in the right place at the right time. And the bottom lane of Rain, I'm actually pretty impressed by.
Yeah, they've done really well actually, and I've really liked Omega's AD carry play. I really rate him at the moment as being up there, you know, on a par level with Samwise as well. Rain Warrior in that top lane, having a bit of a tough time under the turret, forced down by Vizzy. He's not having a great time, but for all of that trouble that Nutri put into the bot lane, he has lost his red buff to Shyvana, and he's also 2 levels behind.
That's not a good place to be in.
Looks like Nutri does want to come onto Vizzy. Is the Counter-Strike going to come out? Yeah, it will. The Frozen Domain comes down. He has got Flash available. Subjugate comes out too. He's going to flash onto Warrior. Warrior's going to flash too. He may get a Leap Strike to finish him off. No, he gets a little bit too close. Will Nutri be able to finish him off? Yes, and gets level 6 from it too. Not too bad for Nutri. He needs that gold.
Yeah, Nutri could do with that gold, but trading 1-for-1 in a 2v1 situation is not always the best place to be in, because both of these top laners are in a race to see who can get their Blade of Ruin King first, and Trundle's already up in CS. Giving him that kill is just going to allow him to keep that distance, and actually it's an investment into boots for Warrior that's actually going to keep him further behind on that Blade of the Ruin King.
Yeah,
it's to try and offset some of the disruption that the Pillar's going to do in lane and allow him to get into range. There is a Dragon attempt going down. Teleports have come out.
Teleports have come out. Digger's going to get caught out by the Orianna ultimate. He's going to go down to Hylasang. Vandargs gets locked up by the Leona. The teleport coming in from Jax at the last moment. No one's going to see it because no Warrior, what's the word I'm looking for? Vision in the brush. Warrior's going to come down, gets his good Counter-Strike off there, but Omega's in the wrong position right now. Going to get caught off, but there's Vizzy getting caught out by the Leona. The peel, exactly like I was talking about. Looks like they're going to jump over the wall onto Zodiac. Zodiac's going to get caught out by the Jax. He's got the red buff. He's not going to escape that. And look at Rain controlling this early game like they always have. And that is going to be a Dragon too.
Rain looking really strong here. Will take down the Dragon. That'll extend their lead to around about 3,000 gold here. And that's a significant lead going into the 10-minute mark. And I'm not sure how Unicorns of Love really are going to offset this because Rain have the much better late game team composition.
And how many kills did Jax just pick up from that engagement?
Yeah, he just picked up three kills from that engagement. It's going to allow him to catch back up on to Trundle with regards to that race towards the Blade of the Ruined King, but really that was just a great time teleport from Jackson. It's why we see top laners all running teleport these days.
I think Unicorns of Love tried to force that a little bit too hard. They weren't far enough ahead, and they saw the Trundle teleport too. Jax knew all he had to do was teleport at the right time, and the counter-strike was perfect. Hit 3 members and then picked up the kills. He's now got double buffs, and picked up most of Blade of the Ruined King. Trundle is never going to be able to duel him in that top lane.
I don't know whether I would say never going to be able to duel him, because Trundle will duel anybody. He really will.
But with double buffs.
With double buffs for now, but I think never is a.
I mean with the double buffs.
Okay, I was going to say.
I don't mean
never's
never,
a little
never,
bit of a finality on that.
You know,
one, but
I mean, in the actuality of never, he's not going to want to do it while the double buffs are up.
Yeah, exactly. But I feel like Vizicachi is smart enough to not even really contest that.
Looks like they see Master of Sheepy on that ward. He needs to be very careful. Warrior is now a target with those double buffs. He needs to be careful as Master of Sheepy is going to back away. Currently sitting on 19 stacks compared to Nutri's 10. So he's really, really pushing that Feral Flare. Looks like the ultimate is going to come down onto Zodiac. He's going to get caught up by the Leona. This roaming Leona did a really good job. Digger picks up the kill there, and Rain just pushing their advantage like they did last game. Is this going to be the upset to the top seed, or what's considered the top seed?
It would be a surprise, because it wouldn't be the, as you say, it feels like they should be top seed, but they actually aren't. I believe they're only third seed or something.
Fourth, yeah, but considering the prestige that lies around.
Our favourites coming into the tournament, I think.
Yeah, the better way to describe it.
Yeah, our favourites coming into the tournament are getting taken to the limit here by Rain, and Rain are going to take down another tower. Not quite, because a pillar is going to mean that the rest of Unicorns are headed up into that lane.
I'm surprised no one has decided to try and ban out Warriors. Jax looks like they're going to catch on to Nutri. Nutri gets a great hook on him. The box comes down. He's going to flash out of it again. Master of Sheepy's coming down. The exhaust comes down. The red buff is there. He's going to jump onto Vizzy and going to go down to Sheepy. The one thing I do worry about now is Nutri is nowhere near finishing that Feral Flare, and Master of Sheepy on the other hand is.
Let's take a look at the stacks. 21 stacks on Master of Sheepy to, oh wow, 10 stacks on Zinjao. Yeah, that is a long way away, and we've seen how good Shyvana is. And it's actually going to be Unicorns of Love pressuring the tower out after we thought Rain were going to be the ones to take down the top tower. So first tower goes down in this game in favor of Unicorns of Love, and this could be the foundations of their rise here back to an even game.
Yeah, they need to be careful though. They are about 2k gold behind, which at 13 minutes is quite a significant advantage in the favor of Rain. So right now, Nutri needs to start focusing on getting some of his jungle farm, because at the moment Digger is taking away the Wraiths. He's getting counter jungled on the side of the Golems. He's not got many options to start stacking that Feral Flare. No,
he doesn't have many options at all on that point, and how do you... Well, this is the problem I have with Xin Zhao, or just in general with Xin Zhao, is he's so binary that how do you offset your weaknesses with an additional strength? Because you really don't have it. You've got essentially stacking your Feral Flare and then getting onto somebody and knocking them up for a little bit, and then that's about it. You clear people with Crescent Sweep. If he's not getting that Feral Flare, he's really got no way of mechanically, via skill, getting himself to a point without just sitting there and farming.
Yeah, and at the moment he's losing a lot of his jungle too, so he's not going to get the amount of minions that he needs to be able to farm. He is in that bot lane, however. They're going to stick around. Blackjack actually forcing the back here. Don't know if he is going to go back. In general, look like they're going to jump on Halisang. There's no ward there. Halisang's going to get caught out by the Vayne ultimate. He's not going to flash for it. Nutri does get the kill, however, so the gold is going to be going in his favor. Vardag's just escaping the Leona ultimate stun at the right time. 1 minute 30 till the next dragon. This is going to be the next big objective for everyone to focus on.
It will indeed. And I feel like Rain are going to clear out that area of any members. There's ping already gone down onto Shyvana. Master Sheepy was looking to go aggressive in the middle lane as Digger was pretty low on mana and health, so would have been a pretty easy pick-off, but...
Oh, Master of Sheepy going to get caught out by Nutri. The stun comes out and stuns him as he uses the Dragon's Ascent. and so he's going to get away with the use of his flash. So good job to burn the flash on Shyvana there. Now, I've got to point out, this jungle scenario is very similar to the first game. Nutri is down 2 levels and down 40 farm. Or 30 farm, rather.
And we really saw Nutri kind of fall apart at that point. He wasn't having the effect that he had in the second game, and it's just because his champion choices haven't allowed him to. That is the problem with Nocturne and Xin Zhao, is if you are behind, it's so difficult to get back in.
And Warrior has just taken the red buff away from him, so Xin Zhao is still going to be starved of his own jungle, so delaying that Feral Flare even more. I can imagine Nutri is too happy about that. The Ziggs bomb coming down to try and save the day on that bot lane turret. Here comes Leona as well. Slight is going to back off. I'm not sure if that's going to be worth it, as using the Ziggs bomb to clear the wave, just to back off and lose the turret anyway.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they really want to defend it. Nutri's actually going to drift down as well, but they're all walking over this ward in Tribush, so I don't think they'll be too afraid of a melee range champion.
Warrior getting engaged on the top lane. Out comes Subjugate. A good jump over the Frost Pillar with the ward gets Warrior to safety, but that's why you've got to be careful of the Trundle.
Yeah, you do have to be careful of that Subjugate, as we were saying, as long as you can balance it in between the Counter-Strike. It's not too bad in that matchup for Trundle and Jax in this mid game.
Oh, are they going to jump onto Master of Sheepy? He doesn't have Flash available, also doesn't have Dragon Ascent. He's going to be caught out between a rock and a hard place here. A great little satchel charge coming down and a dodgy Leona ultimate, not actually landing anywhere near Zodiac. I don't think they're going to turn around for this. They're going to sort of maybe work their way around towards Dragon. Looks like Helisang is going to ward up that area. What's going to happen here, Stress?
Well, we're going to get a bit of de-warding followed by a Dragon Dance for now. That's what it's going to be.
Oh, a hook onto Nutri. There's the box. Look at the damage that Nutri's taken. The culling is going to come down. Nutri survives, but gets taken down by the Dragon. The kill going down to Vardags. Looks like Trundle is going to do the most damage that he can to the Dragon. The exhaust down on Slight means that he's going to be doing no damage at the moment. He's in his ultimate right now. Oh, he jumps, and tries to get the kill onto Vardags. The Condemned doesn't quite get the kill off. Another heal comes down. Zodiac is possibly going to go down. No, the flash from Oriana means she's going to go down to Ziggs. Look at the zoning work that Ziggs doing. He's going to try and take down Vardags. There's no mana there. That's a double kill. But the Dragon did go down to Unicorns of Love.
Yeah, Dragon went in favor of Unicorns because a chomp over the wall was the highest damage that he managed to... I believe he might have even flashed over and looked for that chomp and picks up the Dragons. That's a big win for
But
them.
they do get the mid lane turret for it.
They answer with the mid lane turret, and right now if you're Rain, that's just enough to keep their lead. And that's all they're doing right now, is holding this 2,000 gold lead.
Yeah, so anyway, they're holding that lead there, and that's probably the best scenario that they would want right now because of the way that Rain's team comp works. The closer you keep the gold lead, the less significant it becomes into that mid game where Unicorns of Love are going to be strong. Looks like Rain Warrior is going to try and jump onto Master of Sheepy, but he escapes with the use of a handy Thresh Express, and they're just going to back off from this one.
Yeah, just going to back away indeed. Now, ooh, I thought that was about to land on Blackjack, and that could have been a potentially fatal hook, but you know, Unicorns of Love are by no means out of this. They're only 2,000 gold behind, and it's all down to really how much free farm is Jax going to get now, because he's 4-1 up at this point in the game. That's a good spot to be in, but if he can get even more farm, he's just going to be such a terror to deal with. It's going to be so difficult to deal with both a Jax and a Vayne as this game gets later and later. Master Sheepy's heading back to base. What's he going to pick up? Hasn't actually got that much gold on him. It's likely to be his boots at the moment, I guess. Possibly... No, it's just going to be a pink ward. Okay, and swapping out that sweeper. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, here we go. Blackjack just going to get caught out by an Ardent Blaze, giving him sight, and Vardags is just going to be a bit wary. In the meantime, though, Warrior doing what he does best and split pushing those turrets down. The ever so satisfying sound of Jax wailing on a turret right there. Does look like Vardags is going to come in and try and 1v1 him with Thresh there to give him a bit of support. I don't think Warrior wants to take that as Helisang walks towards him. Not going to get a hook off, I don't think. No, just going to get some deep wards out so we can see anybody attempting to approach in that top lane. However, Vizzy is going to be ran towards by most of the team from Rain, and it's just going to back off now. We need to have a look how far Nutri is getting along with his Feral Flare. Wow, still a long way off from completing it. Whereas, on the other hand, Shyvana has completed it and now has, well, 4 stacks.
Yeah, it's on the way to stacking up that Feral Flare. Once you've got that damage, that's just going to tear through Baron. We've already seen so many attempted Barons. There's the box.
Oh,
plus
there's the Rain Digger. He comes down. Warrior comes down with a flash counter-strike. Gets it onto Halasang. He's going to go down if he gets another leap strike. He's probably going to get the last auto-attack here. No, the Flay comes out, but there's the Blade of the Ruin King. Going to get the last auto-attack. Warrior is on a rampage.
Warrior is having another great game. I think this is, what, game 5 that we've seen of Warrior on Jackson. Again, he's just playing really, really well right now, and he's really taking it to Unicorns of Love. Slight, or Omega, has taken down another turret. 3 turrets now in favor of Rain, and they've started to widen the gap a little bit. It was down to about 2,000 gold. Now it's a little bit wider of a gap, and they're building towards, you know, a lead that would allow them to look towards that Baron area fairly soon. We're starting to see, although hang on, how far away are we from that Fury Flare? That is the all-important question. 9 stacks away, that's a long way. We're not going to see Baron anytime soon.
No, and also it's 20 minutes into the game now. He hasn't been farming nearly enough as he's wanted to, but he has been picking up the kills and assists to help him out. However, the amount of farm that Shyvana has means she's kept up in terms of her items too. In fact, may even be slightly ahead with the finishing of that Randwind's Omen. And I don't know, Nutri wanted to opt to the Feral Flare build, but hasn't had the ability to pull it off yet.
Just hasn't had the team are taking away a lot of the buffs, and of course blue buff would be going on to Ziggs naturally, but the red buff has gone over to Jax a couple of times already, and it's just pretty tricky to stack up that Feral Flare when your own jungle is being taken by your own team.
Yeah, very much so. But then again, if he can do what he needs to do and tank up a little bit in team fights, he has got a very carry-heavy team on his side. He's got a Vayne, he's got a Jax, there's a Leona there and a Ziggs who are all very fed. So it's not the end of the world. Nutri, maybe his team have finally taken the pack off his back a little bit.
Maybe we'll see. As, to be honest, in the last game, I feel like most of the team for Rain actually did a really good job. I think Oriana finished something like 6-1. I think the 80 carry finished something like 7-1 himself. So there was a lot of plays that were made in the last game in favor of Rain. So honestly, I feel like they should be content or happy with their performance in this best of 3. They're taking it to a very strong
Master Oshipi getting caught out. He's going to force the Dragon's Ascent over the wall, and does mean that he's just going to get away scot-free. Rain Nutri in the background there, trying to pick up that pink ward. He's going to get flayed back, but that pink ward is going to go down. Nutri deciding, thinking twice about engaging there. Now, Dragon's Ascent is down, or Descent even, is down for the next Dragon fight, which is going to be happening in 20 seconds.
It's going to be down for now, as he has just turned back into the normal form of Shyvana, but it's all down to timing. Let's see, how long is it going to take that to stack back up for Shyvana, because there's a lot of pressure coming out here from Rain. There's an ultimate coming out from Ziggs. It's going to clear that wave and hold them in place, allow them to rotate out around, and you are correct, it is not going to be anywhere near ready to be used for a dragon fight. It doesn't even look like Unicorns want to contest that.
No, they probably just thought, well, look, they've poked us back, they're going to have to give it up, otherwise they're probably going to end up giving up more than just the dragon. If anyone's interested, the first losers semi-final is underway. It is Team Enigma versus Team Infused. So Team Infused beating out GetBetterAtLeague.com in that round 3 or round 4 of the loser bracket. So that was a 2-0 there. So that one's going to be getting underway. Rift and Void is still going on.
Still going on, of course, that mirror match, although bottom lane here is the collapse onto Vardags.
Yeah, Vardags possibly going to get caught out. The Zenith Blade is going to hit. Flash from Nutri, he's going to jump on. Vardags going to go down despite the heal. Warrior gets unstoppable right there, and they're going to rotate round for this bot lane turret. Unicorns of Love not looking healthy.
Unicorns of Love are in a bit of a trouble situation here. Rain have a significant lead and could continue to push this wave through, just hold them in that bottom lane for a little bit longer while the rest of them head back to the base.
But both Rain and Unicorns of Love are challenger teams. It's not like this is unexpected. You know, Rain are a very, very good team. Blackjack is in a precarious position right now. Are they going to go for the engage? They go straight onto Zodiac. The ultimate from Ziggs does hit, forces the heal, and the exhaust comes out. There's Warrior, uses his counter-strike, a great 4-man shockwave, but it means that Warrior is closer to the action. Subjugate comes down, and Slight is in the background. He's trying to get some damage onto Zodiac, and they're just going to back off, despite all of the ultimates being used.
Yeah, this is, I'm going to be honest, I kind of feel like it isn't expected. Unicorns of Love are a team that have 2-0'd the current EU Challenger champions and have beaten the kings of EU Challenger. And I know the guys on Rain. I've known them for quite a while. I've known Nutri and the guys at the events. This is a great progression for me to see them taking it to a team like this.
And, you know, like, this is very positive for UK esports.
It's such a good game to be watching and spectating, and it's good to see Rain taking it like this to Unicorns of Love. They are significantly ahead, and it's a good spot for them to be in. They just have to make sure they close this out and put themselves, lock their place in that grand finals.
They don't have as much of a gold lead as they had previously, but they've got a late game team comp, and it is getting towards that late game stage. They're doing a really good job right now. Vayne hit those 2 important item thresholds, and even more importantly, Warriors Jax now has his 2 items. Jax can now go defensive and start to be more of a tank too, and Nutri, for all of the lack of farm that he's got, still has a lot of assist gold as well, so he's picked up that Giant's belt from the Locket of the Iron Stellari. And I really like the Locket of the Iron Stellari into this team comp, because it kind of defends against a lot of the damage that Oriana's going to put down.
And we're into this point of the game where really Rain should, if they didn't have control, would be battling to regain control with their team composition, because this is the point where if they're ahead, it is oh so difficult for Unicorns of Love to come back into this, because you're looking at the Jax, you're looking at Vayne, and Leona is so good at just locking people down to allow Jax and Vayne to do what they need to do, and we're into this mid-game, getting towards a later game stage, because the way the acceleration of this game has played out is that Rain have taken quite a few objectives. They need to take a few more and maybe look towards you know, the larger objectives, inhibitors, barons, but they've got to slowly work it there.
24 stacks on the Feral Flare for Nutri, so he's finally working his way towards that ever so important item, which will be useful in Baron. Master Sheepy, on the other hand, has 13 stacks on Feral Flare. I've got to be honest, once the Feral Flare is completed for Nutri, the damage to champions is not as significantly different between a 13 stack and a Feral Flare in general. It's only 13 damage to champions, and that's not even accounting for magic resist, so may even be less of a difference. So again, once that Feral Flare hits, Nutri will hit that power spike, and it has now just been completed. There we go. Round of applause.
Instantly, look at where Rain are. Now that the Feral Flare is completed, they're like, okay, Baron, we've got this.
Yeah, but need to be careful that they don't throw like Unicorns of Love did previously. They're going straight for it. I don't know if Unicorns of Love are going to be able to react quickly enough, because look how quickly that's going down. There is a Vayne there, and obviously the Feral Flare now doing incredible amounts of damage. They aren't even going to get to the Baron pit in time. That's going to go straight down to Rain, not actually going over to the Smite of Nutri, actually going over to Jax. They're just going to take that mid lane turret and say, hey, we know you got Baron, we just kind of wanted a bit more map control.
But Rain are going to be 100% content with that trade.
Yeah, very much so.
Baron for a mid-outer tower nearing 30 minutes is just like, well, how didn't you get that tower earlier in this game? So, you know, Rain will now have that regen from the Baron. They'll have that extra spike here in their tributes. It's just down to these next couple of fights which are crucial. If Unicorns of Love don't pull something special out, Rain's team composition will just win every team fight. They don't need a wombo combo to win team fights. They don't need anything special. They just need to get the damage from Jax and Vayne, and that is really simple at this stage.
Yeah, Rain doing a really good job against a very strong team, as we've seen all tournament long. If Unicorns of Love lose this, they aren't out of the competition. They will drop down into the losers bracket, where I guess they will face the winners of the loser bracket final. No, the winner, yes, the first final, and then there'll be the
hook in the bottom lane.
Hook in the bottom lane. Rain Digger is going to go down. That's a shutdown, but there isn't anyone there to contest it on the side of Rain. They just got caught out by a 5-man rotation, and if they're not careful, they're going to lose this bot lane tower and possibly the inhibitor.
This is going to be an inhibitor turret. Shields have all gone down onto Visage. Actually, there's a big push, and apparently something else happening in the casting area. It looks like our Dota casters are pretty much exploding
right there, but actually Rain do a good job of getting there in time. Don't lose the inhibitor turret. However, the gold lead has now been stretched down to 4k again, so Unicorns of Love are not out of this yet. You cannot count them down.
And it put a very slight pause button on this Baron. I mean, they still got Baron buff on everybody but Digger, but now they have to think for this next 30 seconds to a minute. This is just winding down the duration of the Baron buff. And with Digger not alive, they're going to pressure towards this Dragon Hook.
Oh, caught onto Nutri. I don't think they're going to follow it up, though. Digger is now working his way down towards that Dragon Pit. However, got to be careful. This Dragon will probably quite comfortably go over to Rain, but they do have to be careful because Trundle is not in the vicinity. Jax is just going to push up that mid lane turret. Digger is not going to react here, so if they're not careful, they're going to get caught out in a 5v3 situation.
Yeah, it's
Oh, the Challen come down, but a good smite coming down from Nutri right there.
Unicorns just didn't want to commit to that, and I don't think they had the vision on Digger.
The ultimate coming down onto Hylas, and he's going to get locked up by the Zenith Blade. A good shockwave to lock him up, but that's going to be Rain Warrior getting yet another kill. The Blade of the Ring King coming down onto Zodiac. There's the exhaust coming down. Randuin's comes down from Master of Sheep just to slow everyone down. The Trundle Pillar doing this job on top of that too. But that's going to be a kill for Rain, and they can probably rotate and take this mid lane turret.
Yeah, from being in a position where maybe their bottom inhibitor tower was under siege, Rain have actually now re-established control on this, and they're kind of going back and forth here to make sure
they need to commit, and they are going to commit, so there we go.
They are. It's just that the minion wave wasn't quite there, so they didn't want their backline to be tanking up the turret. They wanted Jax to be the one who was taking those initial turret shots, but Rain are now just going to rotate around to the top lane. There's not a lot that can actually stop them in this kind of situation here, as Rain just are able to push towers so quickly. Yeah,
and we do have Rain now moving down towards this top lane outer turret. The only outer turret still standing for Unicorns of Love. This is going to be a big fight. Blackjack just missing the hook there. Nutri doing some damage to the tower with the 3 talent strike. That's going to be down. They're going to go straight onto that tower. Not going to be an engage afterwards. There's the Ziggs bomb. Hits on those squishy targets. That's exactly what they needed. Vardags is going to be forced back. And Rain are going to say, hey, we got the turret. We want some items. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, let's check how much gold they've got on their person. About 1,500 on some members, just over 1,000 on some others. So it's a good time to head back and buy. I mean, they did have the regeneration on the Baron buff, but it's just a case of not wanting to overstay their welcome. Let's take a look. I believe I just clicked the one member that doesn't actually have the Baron buff. It's actually just expired, so that is another reason that they
about 3 minutes until Baron's going to come back up now then, or I think it's 3 or 4, something like that.
Don't do maths on stream.
Don't do maths on stream. Yeah.
Easy numbers, but still. Yeah, it's going to be up in about 3 minutes. 3.5 minutes, it'll be back up. And that's going to be another point of contention, because Rain did it very quickly last time. This time they've got even more items, even more power, and they're going to do it even faster. And if Unicorns aren't willing to contest a Dragon 4v3 with a teleport up on their Trundle, I really don't see how they're going to even...
Oh, Jax is going to get caught out here by a 4-man rotation. I'm not sure he's going to do anything about this. He does jump to Vardags and flashes away. There's Leona, possibly going to use a Rockman to lock them down. The counter-strike comes out, but there's the Ziggs ultimate too. Avizi's still up right now. He has used his subjugate. He's going to be getting a lot of health back. Nutri jumps straight to Zodiac. This is not a good fight for Rain right now. The Orianna shockwave comes down, and unfortunately I'm not sure what Digger can do here. The Vardags does jump onto him and comes Slight, gets hooked in stealth by Halisang. He jumps onto him, does get the kill onto Lucian. The great condemn coming down there, and look at Omega. He knows what he's doing. His positioning was, although balls deep, was very good.
All that Digger had to do was buy that couple of seconds of time for Omega to get to the fight. Omega actually crossed all the way from top side jungle on the red side to get to that fight at Dragon, and well, it wasn't quite at the Dragon area, it was just beneath it, but Baron is due up in 1 minute 20. This is going to be a heavy push on towards that lower turret. They won't get the turret, but they'll shove a wave into that and really just force somebody to try and deal with that while they attempt the Baron.
This does not look good for Unicorns of Love right now, I have to say. If they're going to lose a 5 versus 1 and then get cleaned up by a Vayne at the end, just their team's not looking on the bright side of life right now. And the Baron coming up in 58 seconds, that's going to be the focus for Rain. I'm not sure if Unicorns of Love have the power to contest it.
Yeah, I really don't know whether that is possible for them. Now we're up to about a 10,000 gold lead in favor of Rain, and this is a significant lead. This is the kind of game-winning lead that Rain need here to close this series out.
Vayne's nearly at a full build too, having picked up a BF sword and a Giant's belt for that defensive item. Master of Sheepy is going to be there just in case Blackjack gets a bit cocky with his ward placement. He's going to place the ward in that blue side brush. I think he smells something's up though. He does see the ward come down, so we'll know there are people there. Ziggs is in that mid lane pushing. They're going to try and get some damage down onto that pink ward, and probably going to take it out to get a bit more of Baron control. There are no inhibitors down on the side of Unicorns of Love, so no lanes are going to be pushing passively.
That's one of the important things though in this situation is Unicorns of Love, while they have all of their inhibitor towers and inhibitors up, are in a fairly decent position for any kind of comeback to be built. If you're not having constant minion waves push into your base, doing significant damage, you actually are just one fight away from pretty much snowballing your way back into a lead. So the fact that Rain haven't yet got an inhibitor tower, although they are
right now, Nutri's going to come down, and good Zig's ultimate completely takes out Zodiac. Incoming Rain Warrior from the side. Digger's taking down Master of Sheepy, and in the back line, Omega is doing a lot of damage, even though he was exhausted. Going to do a lot of damage to Hylasang, so they're going to back off. Master of Sheepy going to get caught out possibly here. Leona still has all of her skills bar her ultimate available, so she can jump onto anyone that comes close, and that was a 2 for nothing. They're going to head straight down the middle and plow into this inhibitor turret.
Yeah, they will get the inhibitor from this as well, because even if they do...
Probably Baron too.
Yeah, they'll get the inhibitor back off, even if there are 3 members here.
Oh no, they're doing exactly what they did last game, which was actually a smart idea, although I do think they have more time than they had last game, so they're going straight for this Baron while they have the 10 seconds of downtime of Oriana and Lucian being dead.
I mean, I agree, it's a good plan if you can get it. I just feel like they could have maybe played a little more greedy. However, the more consistent play is probably the better one to make.
Well, take Baron off the map, that's 5 minutes, or sorry, 6 minutes, 7 minutes even, of downtime where Baron won't be available. Take an inhibitor off the map, you can always go back because the turret's not there. So like we said last game, often taking Baron is the smart play because then there's nothing to contest for.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things that now as well that outer shell has been cracked of the base of Unicorns of Love. So
Blackjack is going to get spotted by the majority of Unicorns of Love. They want this Dragon just to get a bit of global gold back in their favour. At this point in the game, Dragon is worth a similar amount to Baron in terms of global gold, so it's always a good thing to go for when you're trying to get your team back into it. However, again, Rain not playing to the best of their ability with them possibly forcing themselves into a 5v3 situation, but Jax does have teleport if needed, so he can get into that situation. The smite does come down from Nutri, so he does going to secure that for the team, and right now a 15k gold advantage in favour of Rain.
Oh, Unicorns of Love have got to do something special to come back into this, and I don't know what it is that they can do. I mean, they've got a Thornmail now onto...
Higher Froggen.
Onto Trundle.
Need the DDoS.
Yeah, well, let's hope that's not the way out of this.
No, obviously I am just joking. But anyway, the good... I was going to say a good Leona ultimate. I didn't quite see it hit absolutely nobody, so didn't get the manage there. But then goes Nutri. He's going to jump in. The Ziggs ultimate is doing, wow, 3/4 of damage to Vardang's health. A good shockwave is going to finish off Nutri in the middle of the... Culling right there. Vayne in the background has popped her ultimate, however. Warrior wasn't even in the fight, and he's going to be involved just enough to take that inhibitor away from Unicorns of Love.
And now it's this rotation game. Push out the lanes, get more inhibitors. That was actually a 0-for-1 trade, although Rain did take down that inhibitor. It's all the important things they need right now. Credit where credit's due to the mid laners in this one, actually really keeping on top of their farm. I mean, Zig's Digger has really been keeping up. He's 70 CS pretty much up on the next highest in the game, and that's next highest is at 300.
Yeah, so he's doing a good job of farming. He has to take a lot of Wraith camps from Nutri, however, so a lot of that jungle farm going in his favour. Warrior in that top lane trying to back and just get stopped by a couple of minion shots. Digger's going to go back too. They've got a couple of item thresholds that they're going to pick up. A little bit of a saving grace for Unicorns of Love. Going to take away that blue buff from Ziggs. Won't be able to have the constant harass there. So again, now what do Unicorns of Love do? They are waiting for someone to come and check this blue buff.
They're playing as if they were Fnatic.
Yeah, they're going and saying
that's what they're doing.
They're doing the five-man brush camp. Now, Rain need to play sensibly. They really do.
They do. They need to just not face check any bushes, because really this is all Unicorns of Love have right now.
Yeah, this is the only way they... This
right
is the tactic.
Here.
That is the tactic that they need to go for.
Yeah, that's all they've got, because Rain are just going to wait this one out. Baron has... not quite explained it. I looked at... Again, I'm looking at the one member that died with Baron. Let's take a look on the timer. So it's still got half the duration of the Baron buff. I think it was a little bit too quick for that to go, but... yeah, half the duration on the buff still remains on Baron. Rain haven't yet pushed their waves yet, which is a little bit of a case of that it's slowing them down. If they were pushing their waves, maybe using the Ziggs ultimate to make sure the waves are pushing in their favour, get Jackson the other way, or into the middle as it pushes with super minions and then rotate out. It's actually a way of accelerating the game through, because Unicorns of Love are kind of anticipating it, and that's why they're getting pretty antsy right now.
Yeah, now they're going to rotate around to that top lane. Jax still has the teleport available, so that split push is going to continue for the time being. However, he can get into a situation and a fight very quickly, and actually can position quite well from the back of a teleport with the counter-strike coming in from an angle that Unicorns of Love may not fully anticipate when they start a fight. It's quite hard to keep track of where everybody is once a full 5v5 team fight breaks out. Now they're going to push down that top lane. Minions are pushing in that mid lane. The inhibitor is due up fairly soon, so that won't be happening for too long. However, this top lane inhibitor is going to be focused down, and also the bot lane inhibitor turret too. They left Orianna in the bot lane, which I think is the best option for wave clear potential, however not the best option when they want to come for a team fight, because that Orianna ultimate, it will be key.
It will be key in those team fights indeed, and this is the situation that Ray need to be in. Inhibitors down in the middle, 4 in the top, 1 in the bottom, and they're just going to continue to do this until Baron expires. They'll at some point go for the fight if Zodiac steps too far forward and they can get a good pick off, but they don't really need to. They don't have to force a fight here, they have such a good lead.
Yeah, they're just going to keep getting the short fuse passive to get a lot of chunk of damage to that tower. Very, very good. It's like your very own passive Lichbane there. So he's going to go in and just get a 1 auto attack every so often. Look at the damage, doing about 1/8 of the health. They are going to get this tower for free. In comes Master of Sheep. He uses the Randuin straight away just to stop people from getting the damage onto the turret. Rain, Nutri goes straight into the middle there. Subjugate comes out. He's going to have to escape that so the damage doesn't come down too much. Warrior gets focused down, but there's the Omega in the background. Oh, a great shockwave to take Omega away from it. But this is going to be a complete cleanup for Rain. A 5-0 ace. This is going to be GG best of 3. Going to Rain Gaming, a completely unexpected result from the start of this, and wow, absolutely brilliant play from Rain Gaming. They're going to advance to the grand final. Unicorns of Love are going to go into the loser bracket final, playing to be determined. And that's not the American team.
I was going to say, I didn't know they were playing. That was a great result for Rain. Really well worked win there. They played the game as they wanted it. Picks and bans went in their favor. They really just exploited the uncomfortability of Unicorns of Love and ended up taking that series 2-1. So just a really nice setup there by Rain, unseating the favorites. So Rain will advance to the finals. We will advance in the lower brackets and then figure out what game we're going to be bringing you. And that means we're going to be back a little bit later once we've all confirmed that. We will give you guys an update and let you know what game we're going to be bringing back on stream for you. So stay with us here for i51's coverage of the Razer Challenger Cup.